Well, we're here to bring 6 combine risers to y'all, present them to y'all on a silver platter. JP has 2, I have 2, Sanders has 2. There were more risers than 6, so if you're, I don't know, an Oregon Ducks fan, and I'm going to go and spoil it, Dylan Thieneman is not one of our 6 risers. He had a great combine. He is a riser. Sorry, we just aren't talking about every single one. Don't get too upset about it. Don't come
If you're an Arkansas
raging in the
fan,
comments.
hang around.
If you're an Arkansas fan, you're going to be very happy. Spoiler. But yeah, and these are guys that all put on a show at the combine to raise their draft stock. It's a little early to tell just how much their stock is going to rise. So some of it's predictive, right? And then also someone could jump way up and then fall back down. But it's just kind of where things stand right now. And I can go ahead and lead us off with one of mine. Speaking of Arkansas, it's Mike Washington, their running back. Fastest 40 time of any running back at the combine. Not every running back ran, but just kind of like going through some of the names that didn't. I'm pretty confident he's going to be the fastest of the class regardless. A couple people are still going to run at their pro day. For example, Le'Veon Moss is going to run at his pro day. Le'Veon Moss is not sniffing 4.33 40 as much as I love the guy.
I thought his whole thing was long, was speed and not his...
He's a vision guy, vision power.
Which one is the speed one?
A&M back?
Yeah.
Ruben
Owens. Yes. You didn't,
Yes.
and we were frustrated because Owens would be in the backfield and wouldn't make the cuts because he's a speed guy.
Or we would try and make the cut and just slip and fall.
Okay.
But yes.
I got it mixed up. My B.
He ran a 4.33 40, 39-inch vert, tested really, really well at a 223-pound frame, 6'1", so pretty good size to be running that. Huge, and with that, it's not a great running back class. It's pretty well versed in that regard. So someone is kind of looking to be running back 3 most likely. For me, he did a lot to cement that over the weekend. Obviously, it's, 40 times not end-all, be-all, but once again, in a bit of a lackluster class in that regard, it'll go a long way. He had over 1,000 yards rushing at Arkansas this season. His first season at the Power 4 level. If you won a couple of knocks against him, he played 5 years in college, so he's already a bit on the older side for, a position that doesn't have long shelf life anyway. But I was pretty surprised to see him run a 4.33. I'd watched multiple Arkansas games this year. I thought he was really good. I already liked him, but I did not expect sub 4.4 time. So that's why he's one of my biggest combine risers.
Yeah, I'll go and go next. One of my biggest combine risers is Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech. He had a very productive season at linebacker for the Red Raiders as a huge part of that incredible defense. And Tech fans,
yeah, he had 7 forced fumbles and 4
thank you. I couldn't get his. I was trying to do it on PFF to get his stats up, and PFF is down right now, and that's the site I'm more comfortable with. And so I wasn't going to try and figure out ESPN because I'm just a PFF guy through and through. But I appreciate that.
Yeah. 7 forced fumbles and 4 interceptions. Which,
right.
Do not gloss over those numbers. Those numbers are
not at all
diabolical.
Exactly. There were people who were pushing for him to be a Heisman down the final third of the season, I would say. And I do think that if that push had started earlier, it would have been a lot more prevalent, right?
I mean, he ended up in New York. It's very impressive for a defensive player to end up in New York.
Right. But there were a big push for it at the final end of the season that might have got him there, which was deserved. He had a fantastic season. Tech fans might think he should be QB2 in the class. I would push back a little bit on that. We did not see him do any of the QB drills this week at the combine.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, but I'd love to see if that was a turnover-worthy play or not, because that's really what's important.
It was.
Yeah.
PFF is down, like I said. We cannot confirm nor deny that. So we'll just leave that up in the air for the viewers to decide. Fantastic week from Jacob Rodriguez, because the big hit on him was his, I would say, physical traits, right? He did not lack production at all, but people were like, he's just not as athletic as like a Sonny Styles is, or other linebackers. He just doesn't have the same traits. But he comes in and has his vertical was 38.5 inches, which was the 7th best. His 3-cone drill was incredible, 6.9 seconds, which was first among linebackers. So showing of some of his side-to-side movement was really good. His 20-yard shuttle was tied for first, 4.19 seconds. So he was just very good at the speed. So he tested well in the movement things, which was, I think, going to be a big question. So that's a huge boost for him, is to test well with the physical stuff to kind of back up that production. I expect him. He was like a third or fourth round prospect going into the combine. I think he's going to be like early third to like probably bottom of the second now.
I saw a clip from someone on Twitter that was like, "Are we sure Jacob Rodriguez isn't going to go in the first round?"
All right, there you go, Jacob
Very
Rodriguez.
much disagree with that guy, but he did have a really good combine. The linebacker class as a whole actually got a lot more interesting because guys like Anthony Hill tested really well. The guy from Cincinnati, whose name I'm blanking on right now,
Golday.
yes, thank you. He tested really well. C.J. Allen is a person people are really high on. So as a whole, I feel like I'm higher on the linebacker group in general, but especially Rodriguez because I agree I didn't expect him to test quite this well. He still did not quite test like a Sonny Styles.
No,
but
not at all.
We've learned no one tests like a Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
But it's a good riser. I like that inclusion.
Yeah, I feel like the linebackers are both of my risers as well. Technically, David Bailey's an edge, but you call him an off-the-ball linebacker if you'd like.
I would
And
like to
then-
not.
I mean, if he was dangerous. Sonny Styles
He's an edge rusher.
was also a riser for me. And these were two guys for
From
David
like
Bailey.
fourth to third.
David Bailey rose from, for me, it was like, is he a guy who might fall to like 7 or 8 to this guy, no way he gets out of the top 4.
Yep.
And then Sonny Styles, I think the mock for a lot of people throughout the pre-combine and even post-senior Senior Bowl was the Cowboys were where he might start being drafted.
Yeah.
Now the talk is, I think David Bailey is, for me personally, no way he gets out of the top 4. And Sonny Styles, a lot of people are saying, no way he gets out of the top 5.
I think David Bailey is approaching not getting out of top 2 territory. David Bailey was incredible. I just want to say that. I think it's him or Reese, especially with Bane's arms coming in short,
We'll
which
see if
I know
JP
is not the
agrees or not.
biggest.
We will have that debate here in a few minutes.
That's exciting.
As well
That's
with my
very
mock.
exciting.
But David Bailey ran a 4.5, and for me, when I watched it, we watched it during Thursday's show. It wasn't just the fact that he ran a 4.5 and it looked fast. It was that from an eye test perspective, it just looks so scary. Seeing him run down the sideline with the amount of mass that he has up top at his 6'4" size, he looked so brutally intimidating. I'm also going to bring up a guy later, Will Anderson Jr. I don't remember what Will Anderson's 40 time was. I would assume David Bailey's was faster than his. David Bailey he just popped off the screen for you. And then Sonny Styles, of course, tested the best out of anyone really in the combine. Many people would argue running a 4.46 40. He also had the highest vertical and the highest broad jump. This is a guy who played safety his freshman year at Ohio State, and then transferred to kind of like a Mike linebacker, has the ability to rush the passer and then drop back in coverage. We already knew he was going to be good. This is a Central Michigan legend, after all. He transferred to me in college football 25 when I did a Central Michigan dynasty, which I can't believe he left Ohio State. Now we know he has the physicals that are better than literally anyone around him. This is a guy who's rising. Like Jack, my question to you is, are you going to be now hoping that he falls to 7?
I would love him at 7. I was actually thinking about it on the drive out here. I was like, man, I think it's really shaping up great that we get a draft at 7 because enough people rose that now I'm honestly, I mean, I'll have my preferences and I'm sure that, I may have a disappointed reaction on draft night. But, like, it's kind of like, okay, well, if Sonny Styles gets drafted before us at 7, does that mean somehow, like, an Arvell Reese will fall to us? Or, hey, if Arvell Reese goes, then, yeah, maybe that does just mean we can get Sonny Styles at 7. And then, well, if all those people go, it's like Jeremiah Love is still right there for us. Or that means we get our top choice of wide receiver if we want to go that route. So I really love where we're sitting. I would love Sonny Styles at 7. I genuinely would. Just to have a linebacker of that caliber that can literally do everything for you. And I think that's what I want to emphasize is talking about him going top 5. Your, like, standard traditional linebackers don't really go top 5. So for him to make that rise or that leap into, like, oh, he could go top 5 and that's not crazy to say and that's, like, very warranted. speaks to how insane he is physically and the fact that he can do so many things on the defensive side of the ball. I would love him, though.
Yeah, the thing with him is going to be, is he going to be the productive piece that he is physically? Is he going to turn the physical traits into production out there on the field? He did some of that at Ohio State. He actually had more sacks than Arvo Reese this past season. But for him to be drafted that high as a Mike linebacker potentially or an off-the-ball linebacker, he's got to have the Fred Warner kind of bump and boost to you for the pick to have been valuable. So it's going to be a huge talking point for a lot of teams.
Sure.
Y'all each got one more riser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my boy Takario Davis, defensive back, corner, more specifically, from Washington. Spent some time at Arizona. And back Arizona, after his sophomore year was where his hype was the highest. Most people are like, oh, this guy's a first-round pick. Just because he's over 6'3", he has long arms, great frame. And then to cap it off, he ran a 4.41 40 this weekend, which was not what I was expecting from him. One of the more like, oh, wow, 40 times I saw. He tested really well in general and then measured really, really well. And this may flatten out, but he was helped by, in my opinion, a lot of cornerbacks didn't test. A lot of cornerbacks didn't run. And so he did, and then he also put on a really good performance. I think he's someone that can rise. I'm not talking like first round or maybe even like really a second round guy. But PFF has him listed as cornerback 22 and 180 on their big board. And I think we're going to see him smash both of those numbers come draft night. I don't think he goes anywhere near cornerback 22. And I think he could go in the third round, which would put him within, I'm trying to think which way, on the right side of the hundreds in terms of where you want to be drafted. So I'm very happy for him. He's one of my guys. I'm a huge Washington Husky guy. Yeah. Ephesians Prysock also. Good combine from him, another Washington guy. But yeah, I was very pleased with what I saw from him and very excited. Definitely some concerns still tape-wise, but we're talking about a third-round guy here. Can't have it all.
And a great interview clip from Jonah Coleman talking about running backs blocking for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I love Jonah Coleman, man.
I'll go ahead and rattle off my second and final, which is technically multiple, because when I texted y'all and said, I'm going to do Taylor Green, Jack thumbs down the message. And I was like, you know what? Out of respect for Jack and the fact that we have been pushing Taylor Green for a month or more now, I will include him, but I'll also make it not.
You could have just done Taylor Green.
No, because when you did that, I was like, let me look at some other guys, and I was reading some other articles and doing some other background look, and other guys. It was interesting that other guys kept popping up because other quarterbacks kept popping up. So I'm going to say the quarterback class was a riser this weekend. Not into the first round, I don't think, but there have been like a lot of concerns. It was Fernando Mendoza. And then, nothing, right? Because you could look at Ty Simpson, but his, the number of games he started was concerning. And then there's other guys who were all expected to be good, but none of them panned out. So I'm going to run through a few of them. Taylor Green tested off the charts, freak alert. I mean, he posted the highest vertical from a quarterback ever, and the second fastest 40 time from a quarterback ever. Both those were incredible. And I've just been seeing, and now all over Twitter, at least my Twitter, which is something I've become more aware of. Everyone's social media looks different. But all over my Twitter is people posting Taylor Green highlights. That is what my Twitter is full of. People are like, this is the guy that just ran a 4.37. And it's like him making a crazy throw. And it's like, you aren't going to find a lot of guys to make throws like this. And it's so my Twitter feed is just reinforcing my belief in Taylor Green as being a future NFL starter. Other quarterbacks who had good weeks, Drew Aller. Drew Aller was a guy who was QB2 in last year's class or expected to be, decides to come back to school, go back to play for James Franklin one more year, run it back with that roster and trying to win a championship, and gets hurt a little under halfway into the season. And so we didn't see anything much from him. He tested well and did so. Still not at 100% from his injury, which some scouts, might take that to be, like, oh, this is a gutsy kid. He's out here. He's still, not at 100%, and he looks really good. Ty Simpson is most people's QB2 right now. and expected to go like this tail end of the first round, primarily to get that extra year on the contract. And he had a good combine.
He also had a meeting with a NFL team where they asked him to remember and recall the longest play call he had ever had at Alabama, and he recalls the play, the situation, the down, the distance, what quarter it was in,
The yard line,
probably
the score, the opponent. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, he tested off the charts in terms of ball knowledge, I guess would be the way we would put it.
If it doesn't work out for Mendoza and Simpson, they should have a podcast. That would be crazy.
He should just coach. He should follow his dad into coaching.
Well, he can just do what Gruden did then. Coach for a little bit and then start a podcast.
They could build Legos together or something.
Yeah. And then also, like, another name. I was looking through. He was in a Bleacher Report article as a big riser. Kate Klubnik was in a Fox Sports article as a big riser. So the quarterback names I feel like are generating interest is like day 2 guys, like second-round guys. And and in my opinion, when you're a second-round guy, well, what's to stop a team from picking you at 31 for the 5th-year option? So I would not be surprised to see one of those guys drafted at the end of the first round. I'm not predicting it, but that's what I'll say is teams make odd picks at the end of the first round because that 5th year on very cheap money is very important, and it's most important at quarterback. So that'll be something to keep your eye on as pro days approach, as we get further in the interview process and we learn more and more. JP, I'm sure you disagree.
Besides Ty Simpson, I just don't see it.
I agree. I don't see it.
See, I'm feeling pretty confident Garrett Nussmeier is going in round 1.
Right.
Wow.
Yes, I do have his name up there as well. I also don't see it. I'm just laying the groundwork for clipping this and being right in a month or however long, 2 months.
Garrett Nussmeier, another coach's kid that apparently interviewed very well. And I just think as we get more and more removed from the season, the tape he put out there in the 2024 college football season is going to circle back around, and someone's going to end up taking a flyer on him. My thing about Taylor Green, the reason I dislike the message real quick, this beleaguered point very, very much so, beating the dead horse. I just knew he was an athletic freak. So, like, this did no rising for me.
Yeah.
I know he's one of the most gifted people I've ever seen out on a football
Right.
field.
You may have known that,
comes
but
to
apparently not
around.
everybody else did because everybody else is freaking out about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand why they weren't tapped into Arkansas football games because...
Hey, for some people, that wasn't their first SEC win in 2 years. I watched every minute of that game.
True. I did also... he did run all over us, but...
Y'all had a really good defense.
Running is
Think about y'all third down percentage.
You know who else has looked pretty good running the football at times?
Who?
Justin Fields. Quite good. You know what Justin Fields is doing right now?
He's a starting quarterback for an NFL team.
No, he got benched.
He's getting paid $20 million.
He is getting paid $20 million. And did Bears GM potentially get fired for that draft decision?
I do have in my notes athletic freak who might be the reason a GM gets fired in the next 3 to 5 years. Which
saying,
I kind of stole from you in your last rant about him.
There's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags with a lot of these guys.
Right.
Most of them just low-key didn't look good last season. That's not a good spot to be.
Yeah.
But
anything
else?
No, that's my last one. JP,
Cool.
You've got one more? Or I guess you technically did.
I said both.
Yeah,
I
he
forgot.
did both.
We snake drafted it.
Not
Correct.
officially, but yes.
Correct.